Hello, it's Numerologist Glynis McCants. So, right now, Mercury is in retrograde, and I get letters all the time from people asking me, does Mercury retrograde affect your personal numerology? And of course, the answer is yes. And here's why. If everything in the universe has vibration and something happens with Mercury retrograde, you're going to feel it. So, I'm going to give you some examples so you have a sense of it. But I've written about this many times in my newsletter, and I suggest if you want to get into the technicals of exactly what Mercury retrograde is, go ahead and look it up on the internet. Hit Google, type in Mercury retrograde. But let's talk about why I'm bringing it up. It's happening right now. I believe it started January 30th. It's going to go until February 20th. And I'm finding this particular Mercury retrograde is intense. It's very strong. So here's my example. Last weekend, I was doing my newsletter, and for the record, that newsletter takes hours and hours of time. But I wanted to get it perfect to get it out, and I wanted to get it out as soon as I could, which was February 6th. So I'm working on the newsletter, and I do this thing where I say, I change the name to protect your privacy when I run the numbers and give an example. But in the case of the person I did this for, they didn't ask me to, so they really didn't care if you knew their name or not. Keep that part in mind. So here I am being all clever. In my answer, I changed their last name. Well, I sent it, and all of a sudden it just popped in my head. Oh my goodness, I did not change their last name in the question they asked, right? Just my answer. So I thought, oh gosh, then I have to send a newsletter again with a correction. And I debated it because people hate getting a bunch of email, right? And I don't like to bother people with extra mail, but I did it. I said, you know what, it's been 40 minutes. I'm going to fix it. And I absolutely did. I changed the name, I hit save, and then I wrote a note in the second email and said, hey, sorry about that. Just refer to this newsletter. Thank you. Right? So the next day I get an email from a woman who says, gee, I guess you have a typo in your newsletter because it says this versus that. And I'm like, that's not possible. That has got to be the first newsletter. That's not the corrected one. Well, when I looked again, it was. See what I'm saying? That's Mercury retrograde, that you are sure you did something, yet it didn't happen. What you thought happened didn't. So that happened to me. And of course, because it was Mercury retrograde, I could say to myself, uh-oh, it's Mercury retrograde. So it makes you feel better. It's like peace of mind. But the fact is, I've had email after email from people saying, oh my gosh, I thought I placed an order and it turns out I didn't. Oh my gosh, I put the wrong date of birth in for my husband. Can you fix it? Oh my gosh, I put my, maiden name when it should have been my married name. Can you fix it? And I'm just listening to this thinking, wow. So basically, what are the symptoms of Mercury retrograde? It literally means breakdown in communication. It can be your equipment. You could have a computer that just goes nuts. Your phone stops working. Your cell phone dies. You're in the middle of the most important call of your life. That's Mercury retrograde. It also means even if you have a great meeting with someone and you feel like they really understood you, you should follow up. Follow up with an email or something, and don't assume that they're going to remember everything you covered, because there's a real good chance they won't. That's Mercury retrograde. And remember what I said, this one's going to go until the 20th of this month, which means it's also going to go through Valentine's. And if you plan on celebrating with your partner or someone you care about, or you're in a new relationship, you're just trying to get to know each other, don't take it to heart. Everything that's not good, everything that doesn't quite make sense, just breathe, relax, and gently remind yourself, oh yeah, Mercury is in retrograde, because it is. Now, it does tend to happen, I think it's 3 to 4 times a year. You, again, could Google it and find out when it happens again. Here's my promise. The next time Mercury is going to go retrograde, I promise to do a quick video or a quick post to remind you so you can get ready for it. Because there's just nothing worse than falling into this time, this cycle, not knowing you're in it, thinking you're going nuts. You're like, oh my gosh, is my life turned against me? But it's not real. It's just, again, in a way, we could say it's vibration, right? Because every time energy changes, it's vibration. All right. You're watching Glynis McCants. Glynis has your number. Visit the website, numberstudy.com. I have found some of you follow my work. Yet you've never bought my books, Glynis Has Your Number or Love by the Numbers, or even ordered a chart about yourself, which, by the way, the special right now, type love numbers in the promo code on my website, numberslady.com, and you get a discount on an individual reading that tells you all about you, or a soulmate breakdown that tells you about you and your partner. All right? I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hang in there. Take good care.